The Cannabis Gold Rush and the Israeli Militarization Complex by Gal Hacohen. Israel is experiencing a gold rush, hoping to be a global leader in this new medical and recreational revolution. The startup nation has a new fascination with the age-old plant known as Knei Bossem in the Bible. There is something about the spirit and the environment of Israel that is ascribed to the success of some of the many ideas that were developed in our little hub and became global. The pressing challenges and the military culture also attribute to the spillover of innovation. We are a case study. The problem that we face getting around and communicating with each other in our cities and in time of war, and all the production that goes with it, explosions included, have been described as an experiment. The small wars and military operations exhibit the technology and science in action. This is later packaged and sold around the world. Just as Israel's military-industrial complex dominates on a global level, leveraging from the knowledge generated by the military, it hopes to utilize the knowledge gained by taking care of its medical cannabis patients, the pilot, and to export its newly coined medicalization reform to the world and to dominate the global cannabis market. The powers of the free market are getting ready to gobble up their cut of this new pie that is estimated to grow exponentially in the coming years. Cannabis is a wonderful reflection of how society accepts disruptive market changes. My ticket into the medical cannabis industry is also rooted in the military. I grew up in England and in the US, but at the age of 18, I moved back to Israel and served in Chayat 13, the Israeli naval commando, similar to the Navy SEALs. Shortly after becoming a civilian, I was diagnosed with PTSD, and after about 5 years I received a medical cannabis license. I wanted to pave the way. It was easier for me to receive the license because of the unit I served in, but in reality, a lot of people are exposed to traumatic events here in the Middle East, and a lot of people could benefit from chilling. As Israel builds its new legal and kosher cannabis market, things are not going so well, and the customers are not satisfied with the quality of the service. My struggle did not end when I received medical cannabis, and the new reforms are terrible for the patients who are left helpless at the hands of the system that is more worried about breaking into new markets than taking care of the sick. It seems as though they have forgotten about the pilot group that were the subject of the socio-scientific experiment and turned their attention to exporting. Just as the top quality produce is reserved for the more expensive exports, the top quality buds will find their way to foreign lands. When I was a soldier, the ultimate trophy would have been releasing our prisoner of war, Gilad Shalit. As a free man, releasing the sacred plant from years of probation is the second best trophy, right after bringing peace. When Sadat came to Israel in his historic visit, that completely changed the Israeli public opinion and paved the way for the unimagined peace with Egypt, he brought a huge piece of hashish with him. His daughter even explained how smoking it influenced him to make peace. I wanted to bring pride to my unit and to free the plant for all of us, because I knew that our arch rivals, Matkal, would not be the ones to get over the threshold. But then, Ehud Barak, former prime minister and head of the military who started his career in Matkal, took the cannabis industry by storm. Barak was not the only former head of state or general to join the cannabis industry. In the year 2000, Barak was going to be our guy. He had all the credentials. He was going to be the one who finishes what Yitzhak Rabin started. He was going to provide us with peace and security. In the same way that the Sadat visit affected Israeli society, so did the allegations made by Barak at the fall of the peace talks. His claims, which were falsified by the heads of security, changed the Israeli narrative and inscribed the notion that there is no partner and there will never be a partner for peace. He destroyed the peace camp. Just as Barak created a bubble for peace and burst it, he created a bubble around medical cannabis, and we're still getting over the burst of the first bubble and the second intifada that followed, the unsuccessful negotiations. It's time to wake up and take advantage of this window of opportunity to create a fair and just cannabis trade. The struggle to free the plant and harness its potential for health, textile, industry, and agriculture will lead to breakthroughs in research and development in many fields. As more and more people get enticed into the medical cannabis gold rush, more companies are emerging to support, selling the picks and shovels needed for the industry. We must not forget to take care of the sick first, and to make sure that they have access to medicine at a high quality and a low price. I did my best to advocate, and I joined protest, but the message was not heard. I could not stand alone and usher the change, and that's why I joined Cannative. Cannative is a cooperative for medical cannabis patients. Each member gets one share and one vote. Together we will stand against the reforms that hurt our well-being and advocate for our cause, and build a community that can sustain itself and take care of its members. The power is created by formulating an economic interest group with purchasing power. Once the cooperative reaches 3,000 members and becomes active, members will receive 20% off their medical cannabis, and that is just the start. The co-op is also advancing projects such as the shared farm, and will be advancing other social entrepreneurial projects that will be both financially sustainable and even profitable, with a powerful social impact. As part of this pilot group, I can tell you, medicalization is flawed. We must shape the foundation of the industry to be favorable to the sick and to the environment. We must not wait for a fair trade cannabis campaign to understand that there is a standard for the quality, for the ethics, and for the way this plant affects those working with it and their community. There are many models that can help communities prosper from cannabis. It's not just Philip Morris and the drug companies that are welcome to the table. We all deserve a chance to take a bite out of the cannabis economic pie, especially those treated with it. Now is the time for medical cannabis patients to unite and free the plant that will free the people and heal the world before this bubble bursts in our face.